Just weeks before the Delaware Primary, big changes in the most watched contest, the state treasurer's race. Joining us for some analysis of the latest are Stephanie Hansen, former Newcastle County Council President, now with the law firm of Young, Conaway, Stargett and Taylor. Also here is Michael Stafford. He's an attorney and syndicated columnist whose work has been featured on MSNBC. So Chip Flowers, in a tearful announcement in Dover, announces he's dropping his bid for re-election. He's planning to move to Massachusetts to sort of get away from Delaware politics and the scandal that he's been involved in really for the past year and a half. This all comes after he was accused of threatening his former deputy treasurer, Erica Benner's son, at a 4th of July parade, along with a number of text messages that have been released. So it's kind of the latest in the ongoing saga, and he's kind of blaming Erica Benner for what's going on, saying that these lies will follow him throughout politics. Does that wash? Can he blame Erica Benner for all this, or is some of it on Chip?
Oh, I think a lot of it's on Chip. He certainly owns his response, doesn't he? And when you look at this entire situation from the beginning, so much of it hasn't been about the allegations, but it's been about how he responds to it. The Patriots tickets, the Patriots game's a great example of that. Rather than coming, out front of it, of the story, admitting to having been there, we got lies, stonewalling, and oh, lo and behold, now we find out there's a picture. So he owns his response, and I think it's the response that's dug the hole.
I think so. It was a strange end to it, though. Normally, oftentimes you see people continuing to run after issues like this come up. Sure. And sometimes they even win. So the fact that he's actually decided he's not going to continue a re-election bid was kind of a surprise. I think the one thing, though, that was a new factor in this that no one had really seen before is the fact that he now has a fiance and he's planning a wedding. I think that that had a huge impact on what he decided to do at this particular point in time, because I think she said, well, I'm out of here. This is crazy town unless we put an end to this now.
Were you surprised after all that, and we've been talking about Chip a lot on State of Play over the past months, were you surprised that it has come to an end now, that he's out, that he's kind of given up and admitted defeat? He doesn't really seem like a person to wave a white flag as much as he's fought to these allegations. And
oh yeah, I was surprised, but like I said, I think it's because he has a fiance. He's looking forward to a new and different life away from Delaware politics. It's been one battle after another and a hole that he has not been able to get out of the entire time that he's been in office.
It was a weird end to a very weird sideshow. Hopefully, no matter who wins the race this time, the treasurer's office is going to recede into its rightful place of obscurity in Delaware politics and not be heard from again for a while.
See, that's the thing. Now, Ken Simpler got his wish. Things have been made simpler.
Right.
They have been made much simpler, right, because now, now it's going to be a challenge for the candidates to figure out exactly what this office does other than write checks and be the warm-up bench for a higher office.
Correct.
Well, and that's the interesting thing about all this is that none of, or at least not much of any of this has been about how he's run the treasurer's office. It's all sort of been sideshow stuff.
It has.
And minus that, he definitely would have probably would have won again.
Oh, I think he would have.
Right.
My opinion, I think he would have beat Barney, and I think he matched up very well against Simpler. Certainly for Barney, Barney's now got the clear path to the Democratic nomination. Barney versus Simpler, both of these guys have kind of positioned themselves as, I'm not Chip Flowers. How do they distinguish themselves from each other? And can Simpler, sort of is there going to be low enough turnout and enough people fed up with the way the treasurer's office has been handled, or looking for some more diversity between the parties in high office to throw some votes Simpler's way? I'm not sure that the answer is yes to that.
I don't know. I think that Barney, you and I were on the same page before.
Yeah.
I think that Chip probably would have won. Unless there was another shoe that was getting ready to drop. Which maybe there was. But at this point, I think that it's probably going to be Sean Barney that wins. The friend of Tom Carper. He's running on a platform of humility and teamwork, which are two qualities that we haven't seen a whole lot of in this particular office. And then you have the Republicans that are at a severe disadvantage, name-wise and registration-wise.
So we'll have to see what happens come September 9th, which is the Delaware Primary, and we'll talk here on State of Play and on First, more coverage of the primary races in the coming weeks. For now, our thanks to State of Players Stephanie Hansen and Michael Stafford. Thanks for being here on State of Play. You can watch this interview at newsworks.org/Delaware. Click the drop-down box at the top of the page.